Welcome to another episode of This Week in Goldmaking, presented by Dark Shore Capital. My name is Andrew. It is currently the 23rd of July, 2018. Slight caveat to the market update this week. As I'm sure many of you are painfully aware, the API for Blizzard is currently down, which means no updated prices on Under My Journal, TSM, anything like that. So, that said, the WoW token prices are still up to date because that information is relevant to Blizzard's business model, so it's more important than the actual API data. So that, as you can see, has actually continued its downtrend for the past couple of weeks and for the month of July. So I don't know, maybe a good time to buy some more WoW tokens. Really, my answer is always there's never a bad time to buy a WoW token, but as you can see, it's down a bit. So. And again, the prices for all the items that I did throw up here are from literally the day after I did this last, from July 17th. The previous day was July 16th, so not a whole lot of interesting stuff going on there. And then, of course, the stock price is up to date because that is unrelated to the Blizzard API. I did have requests to start including some EU prices on here. And I'm going to be happy to do that, though I'm going to wait until the API is back up so we get a little more accurate information. That said, the overall goal of this market overview is more to understand kind of a general market sentiment as opposed to tracking a specific item for what it's worth. And my hypothesis is that we're going to see the same stuff on EU as we are going to see on US. But the only way to actually know this is to track it for a little bit and see how it goes. But of course, once I start tracking it, I'll probably just keep doing it just for the sake of it, because this is fairly easy to maintain once it's set up. Anyway, look forward to that once the API is back up. Now, news, obviously API is down. We've been discussing that. TSM 4 is in open beta. I believe I mentioned that already in a previous episode, but did just want to say it again since we're into a new pre-patch, so a bunch of different add-ons are updated. TSM, no exception. They're pushing out some regular updates to fix things that have broken with the patch, so please do be sure to check your version. This isn't quite gold making related, but I did want to mention it. The free legendary in the weekly cache for the first week after the release of the pre-patch. And an interesting thing that I discovered, well, I didn't really discover it, my roommate actually discovered it, was if you do a faction transfer during that week, which if you're seeing this, watching this, it's probably too late, but you could have gotten a free extra legendary in addition to the one you got the first time. So kind of interesting little bug there. I don't know if that was intended or not. Just gonna leave it at that. We got a stealth nerf to the character boost, and I'm a little upset about this because I've been holding off on my BFA free boost with the intent of potentially using it to level professions. And the nerf is pretty much that the level your character to 60, use the boost, get professions maxed, no longer exists. And my suspicion is that Blizzard was either too lazy or didn't have the bandwidth in their development team to fix it. So it's not a bug, it's a feature. Chromatic Sword and other rare items have been added back into the game. I know there's been a huge amount of buzz around the Chromatic Sword dropping and people farming it like crazy. I haven't really followed it too much. My suggestion to you is if you're interested in the Chromatic Sword, just wait a little bit, be patient. It'll drop in price or become more accessible if you're into farming it. And then lastly, I just found out that the gold limit on character transfers has been raised to 1 million gold. Would have been nice to know that they were going to do that a few weeks ago before I did my transfer. Moving on to the main topic for this episode. In honor of the API being down, I wanted to talk about something that I discuss with myself quite frequently, and that's learning TSM versus learning how to make gold. At the end of the day, TSM is a tool. It is a fantastic tool. It is an amazing, great tool, but you're not trying to become a TSM master. You're trying to become a gold making master. And there's some value to actually kind of walking through and thinking about this, because at the end of the day, if you're, okay, let's take an example like crafting, right? You're crafting transmog, you want to gather materials so you can make items and then post those items in the auction house for a profit so you can sell it and make money. Great. None of that has anything to do with Trade Skill Master. At its core, you're not using some add-on for some purpose. You're generating value by making something somebody wants and then selling it to them. Now, TradeSkill Master helps scale that operation, helps make it more efficient, and helps you track how you're doing with it. So with that frame of reference, something that I've been kind of working on, and I want to expand on this a lot more in a more detailed specific video, is when you are entering a new market, the first suggestion is don't even use TradeSkill Master. Try to approach it from the most simplistic and basic standpoint that you possibly can, because in my mind, that's going to be the best way for you to learn it, at least initially, right? So as soon as you start, and this will actually happen very quickly if you do this a lot, as soon as you start entering that market and start figuring out, all right, these are the materials I need to gather for my things that I'm going to craft, and then here's who's going to do it, and then here's how I'm going to post them. Like very, very quickly, you're going to start realizing, okay, this is where I need TradeSkill Master to make this actually doable and scalable and actually profitable. But and maybe it's not even doing it in the game, but rather just thinking about it more conceptually without the frame of TradeSkill Master in the way. It can, I'm sure, it can really, really help you get a grasp on how to best even use TradeSkill Master. So again, like I said, we'll get to this a little more deeply in depth in a future video, but I did want to bring that up and see if anyone else had an opinion. Do you think that the correct way to make gold, the first step is to actually turn off TradeSkill Master and think about things? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments or wherever you can find me. Love to hear what you have to say about that. Q&A for this week. I couldn't find any questions, so there are no questions. Why are there no questions? I don't know. That's going to wrap it up for this week. Sorry for a bit of an abridged episode, but we'll be back with a vengeance with the API hopefully next week, fingers crossed. Again, as always, if you have a comment on this video, have any questions, leave it below. Otherwise, you can find me on social media at DarkShortCap on Twitter, or if you just want to send me an email, love getting your emails, darkshortcapital@gmail.com. Again, my name is Andrew, Dark Shore Capital, This Week in Gold Making. See you guys next time.